is ordinance 23-05, Master Planning Zoning District.
So just to sort of roll it back a second, we had the hearing, I guess, 2 meetings ago. Last meeting, we kind of discussed it to get your feedback on accepting the staff reviewed or suggested modifications as part of the recommendation to County Council. Sort of opened up the floor to you all about a couple of the recommendations we also heard from the public, one of those being that we keep an affordable housing component in the MPZ, but eliminate the requirement that it be Sussex County's SCRP program, or the County Rental Unit Program, just because that's not really a tried and true program yet. We hope it becomes that way, but we don't want it to become a showstopper for the MPZ because somebody thinks they can do affordable housing, but not necessarily within that county program. So there's a recommendation that council consider that, and there was the recommendation that council at least consider opening this up to areas beyond the commercial area, developing area, coastal area, and town center area on our future land use map. Again, the idea being that these are supposed to be large enough and flexible enough where they could be reasonably self-sufficient in terms of utilities, and also large enough that they could support the needed off-site infrastructure and service requirements that the state would require. And so, based on the feedback that you all gave me last meeting, I went ahead and prepared a motion incorporating all that with reasons based on the reasons we heard, and also, frankly, the whereas clauses of the ordinance. I just wanted to lay that framework. If there's any other discussion you want to have, or just go ahead and move it on to County Council. I think they have their hearing Tuesday.
I think we're okay with it.
Okay.
They can give further public comment.
Yeah, they're going to have a hearing, and they want to keep the record open, and certainly anybody and everybody can comment on it further.
Okay.
In particular wants to make the motion, I'm happy to if no one else.
Go ahead.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I move that we recommend approval of the ordinance to create a new master plan zoning district, or MPZ, in Sussex County based upon the record made during the public hearing for the following reasons. One, there has been discussion about the need for better master planning in Sussex County for decades. The Council, the Commission, the Office of State Planning Coordination, and the public have all talked positively about creating a method for master planning in Sussex County. Two, the 2019 Sussex County Comprehensive Plan's future land use element states that the plan seeks to encourage the county's most concentrated forms of new development to growth areas, including most higher density residential development and most commercial development, and development designed in accordance with this master plan connectivity zone, a community zone, can be in accordance with this encouragement. Number three, the Office of State Planning Coordination reviewed and favorably commented upon the creation of an MPZ and offered several constructive comments about it. Number four, several Sussex County land use practitioners reviewed the MPZ ordinance as introduced and commented favorably upon it, while also providing constructive comments about how to improve it. Number five, the MPZ will be a useful tool for large-scale development in Sussex County. It will appropriate design flexibility while protecting the nearby residents and properties. At the same time, it establishes a new review process that is beneficial to landowners and applicants, the public, and the county. Number six, the MPZ will allow the integrated and interconnected development of larger parcels of land where appropriate, instead of individual, isolated, and unrelated developments over the same land area. Number seven, although the MPZ ordinance states that it will be limited to growth areas, including the coastal area, developing area, town center area, and commercial area as it designated in the comprehensive plan and its future land use map, County Council should consider opening up the MPZ to all parts of the county. It is intended to allow larger scale yet self-contained development, including all kinds of residential uses, retail and commercial uses, and institutional uses. It is intended to allow developments that are therefore large enough to be potentially served by their own utilities, and also of a scale sufficient to be able to support off-site infrastructure improvements necessary for the MPZ. Therefore, County Council should consider opening up the MPZ to all of the county, not just the growth areas designated on the future land use map. Number eight, there was testimony suggesting the MPZ should continue to have an affordable housing component, but it should not specifically be tied to the county's SCRP program established by Chapter 72 of the Sussex County Code. The rationale for this suggestion was that the SCRP program has only recently been substantially amended, and at this point, there's only one SCRP development that has actually been built. Therefore, until the SCRP program is a proven and workable method of providing affordable housing, it should not be a requirement of the MPZ. Instead, lines 221 to 222 of the ordinance should be modified to state, quote, there shall be a substantial affordable housing component of the MPZ that shall be described in detail in the master manual. The goal of this affordable housing component shall be to serve the intent of the Sussex County MPHU and SCRP programs as set forth in Section 72-2 and 72-16 of Chapter 72 of the Sussex County Code. Number 9, after the ordinance is adopted, Sussex County should continue to coordinate with DelDOT in the form of an MOU or similar understanding so that, 1, there's a one-time or master DelDOT approval versus multiple entrance approvals once the initial main internal roadway is constructed and turned over to DelDOT, and 2, that there's a one-time bonding for all DelDOT roadway improvements. Number 10, this recommendation is subject to the following suggested revisions to the MPZ ordinance. A, council should consider amending the ordinance as needed to permit an MPZ to be located throughout the county and not just the growth areas. However, it should also be clear that if an MPZ is proposed for an area outside of a growth area, it can and will be served by adequate on- or off-site utilities that are scaled to be able to accommodate and pay for any infrastructure, services, or improvements required by the state and county. B, if the MPZ is not expanded beyond the growth areas, then line 202, eligibility requirements, should be amended to reference the coastal area, developing areas, town central area, and commercial area to mirror the whereas clause listing these 4 areas. C, at line 192, spatial distribution plan, clarify that in addition to higher densities, the commercial areas, intensive uses should be centrally located and or along main roadways consistent with higher density residential uses. D, at line 209 to 201, eligibility requirements, the reference to existing or planned arterial or collector road, which are not defined in the zoning code, should be changed to major arterial roadways or collector street, which are defined in Chapter 99. E, at line 223, design and development principles and standards, add a new item 11 stating that all collector or primary roads or similar term within the MPZ must be constructed to DelDOT standards and state maintained, or we copy this requirement from existing language at line 317-322 and also state that all other roads within the MPZ are dedicated to public use and must remain open and accessible to the public at all times. F, at line 279 to 283, service alleys, delete the reference to service alleys. G, at line 304, neighborhood commercial area, line 352 to 356, professional office, medical, and financial area, in line 386 to 390, civic area. Allow these areas to have frontage on existing DelDOT rights-of-way and not just in internal main street. H, at line 304, neighborhood commercial area, parking design requirements, line 358 to 362, professional office, medical and financial area parking design requirements, and line 392 to 396 of civic area parking design requirements. Reword the section that it states the neighborhood commercial area, etc., shall be designed so that off-street parking is screened from rights-of-way and non-commercial uses so that buildings and landscaped areas are more visible than large off-street parking lots. This can be accomplished through landscaping, location of parking areas in relation to roads and buildings, etc. I, at line 330, neighborhood commercial area service drives. Line 364, professional office, medical, and financial area service drives. And line 398, civic area service drives. Revise these lines so that they say, wherever possible, service drives shall be designed and utilized for loading and trash collection. J, at line 336 to 339, neighborhood commercial area drive-through prohibition. Delete the drive-through prohibition. K, at line 448, regarding the master manual, delete the reference to master transportation plan approved by DelDOT, which is not an actual DelDOT document, and replace it with traffic impact study for the MPZ approved by DelDOT. L, at line 466 to 471, master manual buildings, delete the reference to specific architectural details at lines 469 to 470, since they are likely to change throughout the multi-year build-out of an MPZ. M, at line 489 to 491, master manual lighting design, delete the references to and design of the lighting fixtures globes, since those will also change over time. N, modify lines 221 to 222 of the ordinance to state, there shall be a substantial affordable housing component of the MPZ that shall be described in detail in the master manual. The goal of this affordable housing component shall be to serve the intent of the Sussex County MPHU and SCRP programs as set forth in Section 72-2 and 72-16 of Chapter 72 of the Sussex County Code.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to recommend approval of ordinance number 2305, master plan zoning ordinance, for the reasons and with the conditions stated in the motion. So, Ms. Wingate, how do you vote?
Yes, for the reasons and conditions stated in the motion.
Okay, Mr. Mears?
Yes, for the reasons and conditions stated in the motion.
Okay, Mr. Collins?
Yes, for the reasons and conditions stated in the motion.
Mr. Butler?
Yes, for the reason and conditions stated in the motion.
Okay, and the chair votes yes for the reasons and conditions stated in the motion. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you.